astrological, astronomical, numerological report with your girl Sunshine Monet. Give me 1 second, cause I did not. Hold on one more time. All right, I wanted to do like a whole weekend report to get it all done in one shebang because I missed yesterday, and then it's had a hard time. And then I also wanted to pregame y'all for tomorrow because I wanted to get back in the flow of doing like the nighttime mathematics to where like I'm giving you guys the report and the hours and stuff for the next day type of thing. I wanted to get back into the flow of doing that. So we'll see how well it goes. I'm winging it. I'm winging it. So we start like yesterday was Friday. It was a Venusian day. Venus rules over the heart chakra. Venus rules over Netzach. That's our inner God, our ability to create and love. These are the two, parts of self that are closest to God is love and creation, right? Um. So I also have to wrap my mind around talking. Cause I don't be talking. I be in here quiet as shit. So yeah. Venus ruling over the heart chakra. And so that was the day of 12/5/9. So that was a day of power, having an understanding of that power, creating expression or emotions connected to that power energy allowed us to build and destroy because 3 and 5 makes 8. So we were in that space of transformation as a result of us being in our solar plexus chakra, being in our power, things of that nature. And then we're still in that year of 9. This is our last month in the year of 9, according to the Gregorian calendar. And so we're going to give birth to that ability to build and destroy. And so when we did that, it brought us to 1 and 7, having awareness and taking action on our inner God, our inner, designer, celestial designer, because that's what 7 is. 7 is Het Heru. This is we design here, we create here with what, is true in our hearts, right? Overall, yesterday was a day of transformations. Yesterday was a day of 8, Sebek energy, which is the celestial technician, labeling and compartmentalizing things in our space accordingly. 8 also dealt with, like I said, building and destroying that Oya energy, transformations, secrets coming out. We're dealing with fixed water energy here. So, fixed water definitely holds information. Be mindful of the grudges you're holding. The moon's in the space of letting go emotional baggage, given the nakshatras and everything that it's in. And we love it here. Speaking of nakshatras, hold on. Okay. So yeah, all that was there. And then astrologically speaking, we still were in the full moon energy, but now we're in the waning full moon. Hey, hi Apollo, how you doing, love? Hey Danielson, how you doing, love? So we're in that moon of cleansing. We're starting to remove things from our space, but we're still in this full moon, this midpoint between waxing and waning, right? We were in the Gemini Taurus moon. All right, so the Gemini energy on a tropical chart deals with like thought process, how we think things are to be, and our thoughts on our nurturing space, our safe spaces is all about community. We're at 17 degrees, so we're fixed there. All those things. Thank you, Glisten. Appreciate you. And then being at a 22-degree Taurus, we started yesterday on. So 22 is that degree, that number of mastery, being a master architect here. So, being that, being able to create that foundation, that sense of culture and freedom amongst your community was big with the moon yesterday being at 100% wanting. The Leoness minorities began, you know, December is a very magical month. December is like veil super thin. And we got into that heavy the last time we did the astronomical report because we talk about how, in October you deal with Oct being 8 or whatever, and Scorpio season. We know that Scorpio Pluto energy rules over the eighth house of transformations, right? So that's like pre gaming during the month of October when you're at 1-0, which is knowledge in your cipher. But now we're at knowledge and wisdom. We're in December and DEC is 10. So we're kind of reflecting back on that October energy. You know what I'm saying? You see how they kind of like bounce back and forth. Thank you for subbing. I appreciate you. Hey, oh, you're in Brazil. That's what's up. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. So now that's like the back and forth between the October, December type energy, right? So, in December, it's like even though the sun is in Sagittarius zodiac and our mindset is on expansion and abundance and our sacral chakra and our sensual self and pleasuring our senses and being in the sexual energy and all this different stuff, what's happening in the constellations is we're still in Scorpio constellation. So, in this realm we're still undergoing those transformational experiences, right, that our mind was on back in October. So think about what it was you were thinking about in October and bring that to the forefront, because that's what you should be experiencing now in this space. That's what should be building and destroying in your space in this moment. So that's pretty cool. We love it here. You know what I'm saying? Also coming back to the mindset that this is a very magical time is the fact that the veil is really thin with Scorpius energy. As far as like that figure eight, look at the little dot in the middle between the figure eight. It's very thin between that high and low. So that's why it's like easy to talk to, beings on the other side, people on the other side. During this period of time, people get depressed and things because they're suppressing that spiritual connection to people on the other side. You're not trying to communicate with them, you're suppressing it. And people start thinking about my family and my grandmothers and all these different family members that passed on and went somewhere else. And it's kind of like, well, remember, we are in Scorpius constellation. It's only righteous that you start thinking about these people real heavy and, set them up on your altar. Have a conversation with them, fix them a plate. You know what I'm saying? So this is a good time to do those things. Be in remembrance, but be on like the positive level of remembrance. Also, be mindful of how you're holding this energy today during this month of 12, because come like another quarter from now, when we, right now we're making our way up to the solstice, but when we get back to the equinox, 3 is a number of creation. Where that square is a 90 degree. 9 is giving birth to the things in our space. So be mindful of that. What's going to go on in the springtime is going to be, a manifestation of what you're dealing with now, because 1 and 2 is 3. We have our spring new year. For those of you guys who celebrate your new year's in the springtime, that's during the month of 3, right? January, February, March. Yes, March, like March 21st. Yeah. So we're in the month of 3. We're gonna be in the month of 3 again real soon, 3 months from now. So be mindful of how you're harboring a lot of your emotions, and your how you are carrying on your connections with your energy, your emotions, how you're connected with people on the other side, etc., etc. Because again, you're gonna give birth to it in Aries season when we come back to the month of 3 again. All right. So keep that in mind. Coming back to the meteor shower, which adds to the magic of things. We have a lot of meteor showers during the month of December, which is really fun. Their max activity is actually on October. On December 20th, they move about 5 an hour. They're little meteor showers, but it's an accumulation of them, so you're definitely going to catch some. You know what I'm saying? That's why people like, all this time, like, oh, we're seeing shooting stars, and it's just a very magi time right now. The max north declination of the moon was happening. The earliest sunset of the year was also yesterday on Friday. It was at 4:47 p.m. EST. Jupiter entered Gemini constellation yesterday too. So shouts to my Geminis, especially my Jupiter and Geminis. Happy Gemini return. Now this is a constellation. This is on the Vedic scale. Okay. So the events of our sacral chakra, what our sacral chakra is experiencing, Jupiter deals with long-term and abundance, your sensual, sexual stuff, wholeness and stuff like that. All that is entering the experiences of community and communication, being in a space of duality, opportunities. So expect like whatever it is that you've been planning, long-term planning, expect yourself to be able to communicate yourself into different communities that are going to provide you with the opportunities to assist you on your Jupiter. I spoke on this heavy since last year around this time, the importance of having first your boundaries, because 2024 was all about finding wisdom in your Mayat, right? And this year is all about enforcing that Mayat. But we have to be in our authenticity if we're going to do that. We can't do that if we're just doing what other people want us to do. Then you're attracting people you don't really like, and you're doing stuff that you don't really care for, and now you're just living this false reality is not in alignment with you. You start getting depressed, you're easily triggered, you're angered, you start blaming everything but yourself. Like, it's very important to walk in your authenticity. This is your reality, this is your stage. You should be like the main character, you know what I'm saying? If you're not the main character of your reality, check yourself. But Jupiter is here to like, hey, whatever mask you was wearing or not wearing, I'm here to bring abundance to the community and the opportunities that need to come to you for you to do the things that you want. So be open-minded, be open-handed, be open-hearted, be in your sacral chakra to reasonable level, because we know the stories of Obatala, when my man was going in with the palm wine, all the different things like that. But be open to these opportunities that are coming. Karma also entered Scorpio zodiac yesterday, which is very interesting because I watched that Diddy joint. I didn't know he was a Scorpio. I was like, oh Lord. But side story. But karma actually entered Scorpio zodiac yesterday. So the zodiac deals with the mindset, how you think things are, your intellectual self, you know what I'm saying? And what goes around comes around in that space. Where am I going with this? So Scorpio is about transformations. Scorpio is like fixed water, and we know that water holds memory, right? Water holds memory. That's where that mindset of Scorpios hold grudges, or they be kind of coming at you for things that you didn't even do. It's a lot of projection there and stuff like that, because you'll think about how the Scorpion travels. It's claw first. The stinger is always ready. Like, what you want to do. Even if a Scorpio is incorrect for stinging and clawing at you, it's still like, well, that's what Scorpions do. Next time, don't fuck with a Scorpion. You know what I'm saying? So it's karma entering that energy. First of all, be careful with your Scorpio placements. If you've been utilizing them stinging and using your claws in a certain kind of way, because that energy is definitely going to come back in some type of way, shape, or form with karma sitting over here. In addition to that, you can see that on a grand scheme of things, especially because like I just gave y'all that whole gist about how, well, karma is about to be close to the sun. You know what I'm saying? Karma is approaching the sun because the sun is still in Scorpius constellation. So now we have these two entities in the same area. Mercury is also here. I believe Venus is here as well. And so, you have this lineup of planets that are, nearby this Scorpius energy. Mind you, this is still in Gemini. This is still in Libra constellation. So karma is still in that space of law, justice, truth, and righteousness. Again, why I stress so much about being in your authenticity, because for those of you guys who have been in your authentic self, your justice is coming back to you, right? Because that's karma. The things that you desire, you deserve, are coming back to you when you're in your truth. But for those of you guys who are masking, saying you want things you don't really want, and when those things come to you, you're not treating it right, these things and third, like it's starting to really reveal what's not in truth as well. So karma being between Libra constellation and Scorpio zodiac, you're going to see it in people. You definitely see it in the celebrities that's happening right now. Between the first two people that popped in my mind is Cardi B is a Libra, and she's coming out here speaking truth and dealing with her karma and the karmic energy of the different activities and things she went, whether she thought she was right or wrong or indifferent. It's still karmic energy. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. And then you have Scorpius energy also receiving that docu-series. Is kind of crazy. But that is that there. All right. And then the moon was conjunct the Elnath star in the Taurus constellation. So, we had that Taurus moon, which was the full moon in opposition with our Scorpion sun right now. So it was bringing like transformations in the realms of like speak things with your heart, right? So that was all yesterday. We had some big and then that makes sense because I was like in bed majority of yesterday and I was like, bro, I just not feeling it. But wherever Gemini is at in your chart, you're probably feeling that Jupiter entering, expanding that energy. You know what I'm saying? Like I had my Gemini and my Vesta are my Gemini. my Mars and my Vesta are in Gemini. So I would be feeling that Jupiter entering that Gemini energy on my natal, my inner child self. Now, me as an adult, I have to look at my progressive chart to see like the body on the outside of me, how that's aligning. But get into your progressive chart too. Like progressively speaking, my Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus are all in Scorpio zodiac. Some of them, I think my Mercury and my Venus are still in Libra constellation. And so, with that being said, karma entering that Scorpio Libra situation, is igniting those pieces for me, which makes sense because I've been talking shit a whole lot more lately. We love it here. But that's how you can take like what's currently happening and align it with yourself, Ashe. So then today is a day of 12, 6, 9, right? 6 is all about Tippereth. What you put in is what you're going to get out. This is equality and supreme mathematics. 6 deals with Virgo energy. This is the energy of the harvest. Dealing with your health. What you put into your health is what you're going to get back out of it, right? You eat a bunch of bullshit. You drink a bunch of bullshit. You don't exercise. You don't do deep breathing. You don't do any of these things. Guess what? You're going to have health issues. Now, granted, we live in a world where healthcare providers make your health issues about, these things just fell from the sky and we've been researching them for decades and decades and decades. Okay, come on now. We're at this period of time where we know it's about what you're putting in your body and how you're treating your body. That is going to determine what your body gives back to you. If you're not treating your body good, if you're not nourishing your body, if you're not nurturing your body, guess what? Your body's going to break down. The same way a car would, the same way your favorite electronic would. If you don't treat it right, it's not going to serve you. Period. You know what I'm saying? That's how all things work. Your body is no different, right? So, that's the 6 of equality. 6 Virgo energy also deals with your daily routine, your habits. Your daily routine and your habits come from your moral code. If your moral code is like, I could be all over the place, I could be over here, there, and everywhere, then guess what? Your routine, your habits, your schedule and stuff like that is gonna be all over the place, right? And that's that balance between Gemini and Virgo energy and your throat chakra. Gemini energy is the thoughts, the opportunities, the duality of thinking. You got the Polacks and the Castor twins. One is mortal, one is immortal, one is finite, one is infinite. You let people tell the stories of the Gemini twins. It was like, oh, they were out here starting wars with everybody. They were fucking crazy people. But then you let other people tell the story and they're like, they were valiant warriors and they would challenge anybody. So it's about having that sense of duality in your opinion and your thought process. If your thought process is fickle and it's all over the place, guess what Virgo is going to do? Virgo is going to be all over the place. It's going to try to harvest a bunch of things at once. That's where that restless energy of Virgo comes from. But it still harvests nonetheless. All in all, that is the 6, right? What you put in is what you're going to get out. Where are your thoughts at? Where's your swords? Where's your air? Where's your Gemini? It's going to show up in your Virgo. It's going to show up in your earth. It's going to show up through your hands. You know what I'm saying? Also, moral and integral code, how you listen, how you speak. That's a giving and receiving, right? Because how you speak is going to determine, the words that you're going to get back in response to listen to. You know what I'm saying? Hey, True. Who just came in here? Hey, Gary. How y'all doing? And then how you teach, how you learn. Your form of learning will also determine how you teach things, how you relay information, this, that, and the third. So again, all coming back to that harvest energy on the 6. 6 also deals with Tippereth. Now we come into this Leo energy. Tippereth is Heru in the Neteru. So it's Tippereth in the Sephiros. I know you've seen the Metatron symbol, especially if this is not your first time here. You've seen them in my tarot cards. But if you've never seen it before, go ahead and go to Google real quick. Look up the Tree of Life. Look up Metatron. You'll see the 10 Sephiros. You'll see the 10 Neterus in alignment with the 10 planets. And it's all there, and that's what I specialize in. So Tippereth is ruled by Leo energy, right? This is your heart. It's connected to all your other Sephiros or your Neterus, just how your actual heart is connected to all your other organs and your body systems, providing that oxygen to and from in your veins and arteries, the same way your Tippereth is providing that energetic connection to and from the rest of your Sephiros. This is why it's so important to have your heart light, not callous, light as a feather, or your soul will get devoured, right? That's important. That's important because that heart is pumping whatever else into the rest of your body. You ever been like so upset, angry, thinking about stuff and holding a callus and you feel it in the middle of your back, in the front of your chest? You know, when you sad, you angry, even when you get really happy. You know, sometimes it can get overwhelming, but you can feel it in your chest. Same thing with like you know, how you feel affects how your heart pumps. You know, people get heart attacks. You know, people get, you know, different things that is a result of like your beat is becoming irregular, it's getting too tough, or this, that, and the third. So remember that in your Tippereth, it's about keeping it light. And when you keep it light, you're in your inner child, which is what Leo is associated with. How well are you in your inner child? I was watching a video. Who was it that said it? Cat Williams was like, you know, your longevity is determined with how well you're in tune with your inner child, right? And that's real shit. Because that's the Tipperary. How well are you in tune with your heart? You know, children are resilient. They forgive. Um, they love, they're trusting, they're curious, you know, they're appreciative, you know, they use their whole emotion, you know, they're not reserved. They don't get that training of people watching you. Don't be too happy, don't be too angry, don't be too sad, you know what I'm saying? A child pure of all of that domestication and indoctrination uses their whole heart. And that's what we like yearn to get back to. And that's why a lot of y'all are depressed and sad and stuff like that, because you're not using your whole heart. You allowed your heart to be domesticated. You can't be too happy. You can't be too angry. You can't be too sad. You can't be too excited. You can't be too in love. You can't be too creative. You like it's always a game you gotta play. You gotta show this nonchalant, tough energy, you know. But that's not us at our inner child. Maybe some of y'all, but a lot of y'all, that's not y'all at inner child. So you know, get back into your Tippereth, get back into your Heru, that heart, because that provides balance for everything else around you. And that allows your soul, your energy to go where it wants to go. So that's all on the six. You know what I'm saying? See, we had a lot to do with the six. Now we're going to take that six and we're going to come into a sense of understanding. Because, like, you know, like I talked about earlier, being in the month of 1 and 2 is knowledge and wisdom that brings us what? Understanding, creation, expression, emotions. 3 also deals with Gemini energy of community and communication. Don't you see us heavy in this Gemini energy? While the sun is in Sagittarius zodiac, where you think Earth is in? It's in Gemini zodiac. So we're in that 3. You know what I'm saying? It's a divine alignment to be in this 3 right now. So it's all about community, communication, and opportunity. So we're gonna take that 3 and we're gonna put it together with the 6. Our ability to harvest, and where does that bring us? 9. So we get a 369 today, which is really cool. Today is really good for manifesting and creating things. I bought my little candle. I got my incense, my sandalwood, and my patchouli incense. I'm gonna get busy tonight. Write my intentions. It's fun here. True Kabbalah is session. Yeah, I love the Kabbalah. Well, yeah, it's not a book, but about Neteru. Yeah, I like Raul Nafir. He's a really good author. I base a lot of my information on his teachings. And then I take it steps further because I honestly align all my education and all my experiences and all that stuff like to get together. But like he's definitely a foundation in alignment with a lot of the psychological theories on stages of development, stages of grief, um, hierarchy of needs, you know, Freud's different stages, the id versus the ego, you know, all those things like that. I applicate all of that into the chakras, into the Neteros, into uh, the Sephiroth, and it, you know, it all flows. It all flows how I do it. I'm really good at what I do. Um, mhm. I mean, that's where they got it from anyway. So might as well just put it back together. But yeah, so that's what's happening. 9 is about the celestial womb. That's Cancer energy. So we give birth based on our, you know, how well we express, communicate with our harvest, right? So again, it's a great day for manifesting, bringing things into wholeness and fruition, all that fun stuff. Hey, Patrick, we love you, Erica. Um, and so when we take Nine deals with Cancer energy, your moja that rules over the ninth Sephiroth. And then nine also is associated with Sagittarius energy, still coming into the sacral chakra, reproductive health and stuff like that, bringing things into fullness, wholeness, and stuff. And we're in the year of nine, so we put the two nines together again, making today like a beautiful day for manifesting, right? And that brings us to 1 and 8. One is that Ketters, the intellect up there. We love it, the knowledge. One also deals with Aries energy, as Aries rules over the first house. Now we're in our solar plexus chakra on a chakra level. One in the gut that controls the mind. Everything starts with the thought, the Ketters, right? So one is Aries energy, taking initiative, taking control. We let the gut give us the message, and what happens in response? Transformations. 1 and 8. Oya is the external side of the solar plexus chakra. All right, so we have Aries, Ogun inside, and then Oya responds. Scorpio's energy responds. What things need to be built? What things need to be destroyed in order for your gut to be quenched? And that's the balance between the fire and the water, right? So, yeah, 18. We love it here. Y'all gotta use y'all solar plexus chakra. Be brave today with things you're trying to manifest into your space. We love it here. And then overall, today's a day of 9. So we get 3 9s today. First 9 we get on a 3 6 9, and then we get another 9 through the solar plexus chakra, and then we ultimately come back to 9. So 3 9s today. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm gonna use it for manifesting. I suggest you guys manifest in y'all space today as well. Like I said, I got on my stove. We're gonna have a good time later on. And so, astrologically speaking, we start the day off with a 98% waning gibbous moon, moon rising at 5:12 p.m. and setting at 8:15 a.m. We start the day off, at Cancer. We're at a 2-degree Cancer zodiac. So our mindset is on that nurturing energy, being in our intuition. The moon is in its home space of Cancer energy, which is cool. So it's the big expansion on the third eye, big expansion on the intuition. Like really, really trust yourself. Trust the voices in your head today, within reason, because some of the voices in your head are a little crazy. Um, and then we're at 7 degrees Gemini constellation. So we're still in that cardinal energy of Gemini constellation with the moon. But we are, 7 is good. 7 is Netzach. It's the celestial designer. Mind you, this is where we started the day off at. We know the moon moves 13 degrees a day. So by the time the end of the day, we should be at like a 21 degree Gemini constellation. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so it's all about, opportunities coming to the home and family, opportunities coming, in response to how you're utilizing your third eye in the space. Because we started the day off at 7 degrees Gemini, let's talk about the nakshatra that we start the day off in. Because I was talking real fast. We're in the 6th lunar mansion. This is the Ardra nakshatra. And we're actually here up until we get to 20 degrees Gemini. So some positive traits is being intelligent, learning, truthful, compassionate, working, being successful. Some negative traits could be being ungrateful, arrogant, reckless, antisocial, self-serving, and mischievous. So be mindful of that in the moon. Interesting, the solar plexus, Mani Porta, is heavy too. Yeah. And so the sunrise today was at 6:54 a.m., setting at 4:47 p.m. Started the day off at a 14-degree Sagittarius. So while the moon is moving 13 degrees in the day, the sun only moves 1 degree a day. It's a whole lot slower, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're at a 14-degree Sagittarius in our mindset. 1 and 4 is having knowledge, awareness of that culture, freedom, which brings us 5, enforcement. So you might find yourself having to enforce, your sacral chakra into your space today, which, why wouldn't you want to? Mm-hmm. Now, in the actual happenings, the events, we're still in Scorpius. We're at 19 degrees Scorpio. So we have about like another week and a half or so in Scorpio constellation. So it's fun here. Usually like around like the 16th, 17th is when we change constellation. And then from the 17th to like the 21st, 22nd of the month, we'll have the sun in the light same zodiac and constellation for about 3-4 days before it moves off into the next zodiac. Sometimes when we're real lucky, especially in the summertime, the draconic chart will also be in alignment for about a day or two. But usually around this time of year, the draconic chart is like, hey, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'll see y'all later. It's usually like a step ahead. Draconic chart deals with our soul's experience. It the soul, of course, our aura is the biggest thing about ourselves. So it's always ahead of the tropical and Vedic chart. So you have the draconic chart going first, and then you have tropical. So you get the thoughts that's connected to the aura, or the, what do they call it? The space of um ease. What is it called? I don't know. It'll come to me at a random moment. But like, that whole realm of like the matrixy realm that you tap into, a little cloud or whatever. The cloud always goes first, then your Keter's on the tropical, and then your Malkuth or your Jeb in the Vedic. All right. So that's the three. That's how I teach it. Not every astrologer is like me. I'm not saying that I am the end all be all, or y'all don't have to be like me. In fact, I'm glad that y'all not. Let me be unique, okay? Let me be in my power. Y'all ain't gotta agree with nothing I'm chatting about, and that's okay, okay? Um, you do you, what works for you. I've been doing this shit for over 10 years, and from the accumulation of my experience, I've reached my 100 birth chart, okay? It works for me, and it works for the people that come to me. So again, y'all don't have to agree with what I'm saying. That's perfectly fine. I'm super okay with that. I'm not going to go back and forth with you, okay? I don't care that much. Nobody does it like that. Most do one system. Yeah. See, I'm a Virgo. I got a Virgo, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Gemini. I'm all about the crossroads. I don't make choices. I take all of it. Okay? I take all of it, and I show you how to put it all together. But I can break down the parts at the same time. That's just how I move. That's how I think. But yeah, the sun is still in Scorpio constellations at a 19 degree. So we're moving out of that fixed degree of the Scorpius constellation, and we're about to get into mutable. So you might feel yourself starting to loosen up in your experiences in the realms of transformations, in the realms of, your memory, your grudges, a lot of your sensitivities you may be holding on to need some transformation. So go ahead and let a lot of that stuff go. I believe this is still considered like the 18th lunar mansion, but let me double check. It is. I still know what I'm talking about, y'all. So this is the Jayestra Nakshatra. Hey Dre, how you doing, love? Some positive traits is being talented in music, creative influence in your experiences right now, being well behaved, sociable, passionate, etc. Some negative traits is family issues, hiding your feelings, immoral, possessive, controlling. And we're actually going to be in this nakshatra up until 30 degrees Scorpio. So we're going to be here until we reach that 0 degree Sagittarius, and then we'll move into the 19th nakshatra, which is cool because 19 is knowledge being born, and then Sagittarius deals with the wisdom. It's fun there. Anyway, the moon and Teja posterior are in conjunction today. That happened at 5:07 a.m. this morning. The moon was 5.1 degrees north. Minimal angle was at 7:10 a.m. The moon was 5 degrees north northeast, and we were able to observe that at 6:10 a.m. with a 5 degree north separation. And second, ooh. To get into what Teja posterior is, I have a note for that. Yes. Sometimes I forget. I know it's in the Gemini constellation. I just forget what brother this is. But this is located on the back foot of the Gemini twin. This brings on, this is the mortal twin, all right? So this brings on the energy of Mercury and Venus. So we have that communication of the heart chakra, what you value, what you prioritize. Again, reiterating, this is a great time for manifesting and bringing things into fruition. The force, energy, and protection, hands, arms, and shoulders are ruled by today. Return from a journey, health, and goodwill is that for Teja. The Phoenicians from the Phoenix constellation reach max activity today for my sky watchers. Y'all want to go catch a meteor outside. Mercury also enters Scorpio constellation today, so again, coming back to what I'm saying, today's a great day for manifestation. Utilizing your throat chakra to build and destroy on things in your space right now. Empowering transformations. Mercury is also at midheaven. It's at the highest point of the sky because it is over there. And then the Cassiopeia meteor shower from the Andromeda galaxy is also at its peak today. That meteor shower goes from December 1st to December 8th, and they move about 8 an hour. So we got two meteor showers at max activity today, in addition to the Leonis minors that started yesterday. We have three major planetary transits. We got Jupiter entering the Gemini constellation yesterday, Karma entering Scorpio zodiac yesterday. Now today we have Mercury entering the Scorpio constellation. All right, so we're over here. Then we get into, I'm gonna get pregame you guys for tomorrow, because like I said, I wanted to start getting into the nighttime and doing it like the night before, so that you guys just have it the night before. So let's talk about 12-7 today. So 7 is all about your internal God, right? 7 is Netzach. This is Heru. It's considered God in supreme mathematics, because when you think about God, you think about the creator, right? And how do you create? You create with all your heart. You create with what you value and what you prioritize. Also, God created on the sevens, right? So that's why 7 is associated with that energy. Venus rules over the 7 energy. The Venusian day is a holy day for many reasons, but a big one is that is the day that God created humans. So, and that's the body that we're in. So 7 is a godly number. This is getting into your inner God. Now, when we deal with 7 in numerology, it's all about going within, pulling the Hermit card, studying yourself, and then studying yourself some more. I don't want y'all to be isolated. Now, people that have like imbalanced 7 life paths, they can be very isolated and seclude themselves and forget, like, you have to be amongst the collective. It's cool to learn about yourself, it's cool to be in all the esoteric stuff, it's cool to do all these things, study yourself, be spiritual, do all these things. But if you exclude yourself a little bit too much, I think about them. I think it was the monkey and Chance of Meatballs. Like, Mans was secluded so much that he couldn't really function. He didn't even realize how much he liked interaction with other people. Like, people came around, remember, his had vomit mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just talking a lot, you're doing a lot. You want to know why? Because it's kind of like when you go too long without eating. You know what I'm saying? Your body starts to starve itself out, and then when you finally do eat, you're like, oh, you eating real fast, you're going in, and you know what else your body is doing? Is holding on to that food because it doesn't trust you to eat again. It's an overdoing thing, because you're not giving yourself that regular, everyday, like, habit. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the same thing with socializing and connectivity. We crave it. Our energy craves it. Our energy requires it. That's why there's people in our dreams. You're not in your dreams by yourself. You interact with other people, places, things, situations, ideas, events, animals, plants. You have interconnectedness. You have interdependence. It's essential. It's essential. As much as you want to pretend like you're in a world all by yourself and blah 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 blah, majority of the materials that you have in your space, you would not have it in your space if you didn't have some sense of interdependence with the people that manufactured it, with the different flora and fauna that is based on. You know what I'm saying? So, like, be mindful of that. And yeah, 7s do have to ground. They have to come back to earth, because they can get so far up into that energetic realm that they forget what's necessary here. Now, and I get it. People, when they come into this realm, the first thing they want to do is wear a whole bunch of amethysts, and I only want to be in my upper self, and I only want to be in my higher self and my spiritual self, and want. However, it's a blessing to be in the above and the below at the same time. We're literally experiencing ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, our self that we're experiencing is a little distorted, but that's the whole part of the game. And you know what else is fun about the game? You're in control of both sides. like this is you on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like This Is Us. Like, you have the people underneath. Like, that's you too. So go down there and do the stuff with you. Like, don't be afraid of you. Don't run away from you. That's where you get the mindset that it's angels versus demons. You know what I'm saying? They were fighting each other. No, they don't gotta fight each other. We can get along. We can hold hands. We can kumbaya. If you read the Torah, when they got into the parts where was it Moses was traveling. At this point, he had already had all the, he had his people or whatever. But like he's traveling through different lands. Not even Moses. I think it was Israel. And they're traveling through different lands, and people are saying, well, this is my God and your God, and then you realize like God is on both sides. God was on the side of the Moses lineage and all the people, the pilgrimage and stuff, but God was also on the side of the people that was coming after them too. And it's just a matter, God doesn't know good or bad, right or wrong. God goes where it's called. You know what I'm saying? That's you and your human flesh that's making everything war and go against each other, and you gotta choose this, choose that, da da da. I don't be on that type time. Y'all know I don't be on that type time. I know a lot of y'all like to project that type time on me because you can't fathom infinite energy. But yeah, you gotta figure that one out. That's on you, boo. But yeah, it's not about one versus the other. It's not about there's a side of you that you don't like, that's not good enough, not this enough, not that enough. That's how you come into the space of, again, once again, depression, suppression. Now we got people unaliving themselves in this, that, and the third because you're so far up in that spiritual realm, like you look down on your earthly fleshly self and you're in disdain and disgust. You know what I'm saying? And they're both important, they're both essential, they're both beautiful. It's a blessing to be able to hop back and forth. And then we are like jumping through parallel universes. We're also experiencing the earth experiencing itself. You know what I'm saying? We're experiencing the ocean experiencing itself. We're experiencing the sky experiencing itself. Everything here is experiencing itself, and we get to experience it while we experience ourselves. Like, don't take the magic out of this reality because it's very much here. It's just we've been so domesticated with the education system, and then all the things that we could be you diving into with our curiosity and stuff. We choose not to, because our education says, no, that's fallacy. That's pseudoscience. Like, these are real scientific terms. The rest of that is made up in a fairy tale and da 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 da, and or a Disney movie, whatever, whatever. And that's not true. Malkuth is a magical place. It is. Think about it. Think about we have storms of fire. We got firestorms. We got water storms. We got air storms. We got earthquakes and mudslides and all that stuff like that. We have like places you go to where it's just lightning all the time. We have a place you can go to where the sun never sets. The sun is just always there. We have ice walls, and there's entities inside them. We have like pockets of, like, earth is not like a flat surface. Earth is not a flat ball. There's societies and civilizations and lands, like, within, and above, and outward to, like, to a level that we can't even fathom. Niggas don't even put them on the maps. They're not even on the maps, because everybody might lose their minds. We don't know. So, and also because certain people just like not having certain information. It keeps them in control. It's the overactive solar plexus chakra that we still experience in some people, places, things, situations, ideas. It is what it is. But yeah, all of this, all in the same realm. All that to say, let's come back to the seven. Seven is God going inward without isolating yourself. It's very important here. Seven is Venus. This is Netzach. What we value, what we prioritize is what we're going to manifest in our space, right? So we're going to take this Venusian 7 energy and we're going to come to a sense of understanding with it, right? Because we are in the month of understanding. That knowledge and wisdom brings us what? Understanding. So we're in understanding, we're in creation, we're expression, we're in that Vina energy, and we love it here. And we're going to allow the 7 to go through all the restrictions and the limitations and the challenges that it needs to go through so that it can come through in the physical. You know what I'm saying? That's what the 3 is about. How do we bring this idea and this wisdom of this idea to a sense of understanding that'll bring it to the rest of the physical body, that'll bring it to the lower self? That's how you come from the 1 to the 10. You want to go from the 10 to the 1. Okay, we're going to take that understanding restriction and we're going to open that shit up. And we're just going to keep opening it up. That's something that has to be practiced. That way you guys can stop warring between your upper and lower self, But anyway, Once we take that 7 and 3, it brings us to Malkuth. It brings us to the earthly realm. Now we're in Jeb. Now we're having this physical experience. You know what I mean? Yeah, now we're having this physical experience. Now we have the knowledge in our cipher and our experience, and we move in gratitude. Overall, brings us right back to our Ketters. The awareness of being, the awareness of depth of being, the power to be one with all, being unique and united. That Aquarius energy rules over the Ketters. Um, that takes initiative, the action. The Aries energy rules over the one in astrology. That's the gut that controls the mind. We talked about this, right? Everything starts with that thought. The trigger, ambition, motivation. So we're going to take that one, and we're in the year of 9. This year of 9 has been brought to us by wisdom in our cipher and wisdom in our power, 2025. 2 being that Mayat choke my energy, that expansion energy, wisdom, Jupiter. And we're expanding in our space, and we're also expanding on in our solar plexus chakra, our Jabora, Jadula, Ogun energy, our celestial enforcer in this space and time. Being in our truth will be enforced in our space, right? And we should have been being in our truth what it was our Mayat was last year in the 2024. And I think that's cool too, because when you're in the 1900s, 1 and 9 is knowledge being born, right? So now that knowledge has been born, now we're utilizing the wisdom in our cipher. We're exercising that knowledge that was born in the 1900s and bringing it into the wisdom in our cipher. So, like, I be saying that a lot, like, with a lot of stuff that we're experiencing in space, it's like you're experiencing these things in your space because this is all the stuff we manifested in the 1900s when knowledge was being born. This, like, all the magic stuff, all the the harvesting and the rituals and stuff during the 1800s, the 1 and 8, that was heavy on the solar plexus chakra, right? Everybody was at war, slaves everywhere. Everything was crazy in the 1800s. It was heavy on the solar plexus chakra. You know what I'm saying? 1700s, we was in that spiritual realm. It was heavy on the spiritual war. You know what I'm saying? Having this knowledge and awareness of God and everybody's different gods, and everybody's going to war with each other about the gods or whatever, right? So now we have made it to 2-0. Now we're making it to the wisdom, the chokma, the expansion. You know what I'm saying? We're exercising that one that we got from the 1000s all the way up to the 1900s. You know what I'm saying? Now we got now we're getting into exercise with it. And that's probably why a lot of people want to time travel back to the 1000s, to the 1900s, because it's like we want to utilize that wisdom and exercise it here. We want to utilize that knowledge, that initiative energy, and bring it here in the present. Sankofa vibes. Bring it here into to exercise into wisdom. However, make sure it's in chokma. Make sure it's inside your internal mayat, because don't get it twisted. We still in the age of Aquarius. You know what I'm saying? We're in that space of being revolutionary with the knowledge from that period of time. So be mindful of that when you guys are time traveling and using stuff. Nice explanation of 1900. I'll do my best. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so we're gonna give birth to this, knowledge, this ketters that we have, and of course that brings us back to Malkuth. It's gonna bring us back to our earthly realm. So tomorrow is kind of like today is like heavy on the manifesting, doing the hoopla, doing the whole thing. Tomorrow is kind of like we finish it off in the manifesting realm. You know what I'm saying? Bring it into your earthly self and then take action, because manifesting is not just you sitting there and thinking about things. Manifesting is the festival of the manos. What are manos? Your hands. You have to actually do stuff. You have to harvest. It's by design that Mercury energy rules over the hands. You have to harvest with those. So, a lot of us think that, oh, if I just sit here and I just think about it hard, it'll come. Yeah, for Matilda, we don't live in that realm. You know what I'm saying? In certain spaces we do. Our aura will go into those spaces. Our aura will shake hands with those people, blah, 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 blah. But if our physical body does not put into the work, the same amount of work that our imagination just did, that our aura just did, that our spirit just did, guess what? That shit's not going to exist in the physical. It has to go through the Bina. What is Bina? That's the limitations, the restrictions, the challenges that strengthen you, that give you the roots that's required for you to do the things that you're trying to do. So yeah, you guys have mastered manifesting stuff in the spiritual realm. You guys have mastered manifesting things in your imagination and your ketters and your auric body. Now it's time to, follow suit in the physical. Yeah, the physical is the slowest part of it all. And that's probably why people want to do away with the physical stuff. It's like, bro, this is the slowest part. This is the hardest part. It is. It is. But it's such a blessing to be able to experience that malkuf. Like, think about how proud you feel of yourself when you give your testimony. You know what I'm saying? Of the things that you've already been through. Not as a victim. I don't like that victim shit. Not as a victim, but like as a victor. Like, yo, I put up with this. I had this shit going on in my family. I was raised into this economic system. I was raised into abuse. I went out here. I was tilling and going through my things and this, that, and the third. And look at where I am right now. And then really think about like in this moment. Like, didn't you pray for this moment? At some period of time, you know what I'm saying? Like I felt that the other day, like when I was cleaning the house real good on the 4th, and I wasn't even thinking about the full moon. I was just cleaning my house, and I was playing Griselda because I wasn't thinking about the full moon, but I knew. I was like, bro, this is a Taurus John, and the sun is in Scorpio. Like, bro, y'all got me feeling real sassy right now. I don't really have no options down here. All my eaters are in the north. Like, I'm not having a good time. Hey, Mama Eda. Yes, I'm living in my prayers. So like as I'm cleaning up the house and stuff like that, I'm playing Griselda, and I had like a flashback. Like, yo, like I remember being up north, staying at my mother's, cleaning up, listening to the same exact song in my head. Like, yeah, I'm cleaning my apartment right now. Like, I'm this my spot. I'm cleaning up my spot. Da, 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 da. And I was like, yo, I'm cleaning up my spot. Like, this is what I asked for. Did I know all the details in that moment back then? No, I didn't. But I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, I can even go back even further to times where I was in a shitty ass relationship. Like, yeah, I can't wait to get away from this nigga. I'm cleaning my house, the house I'm ahead by myself with my kids. And guess what? I'm exactly where I prayed for. I'm doing the things that I prayed for. I wanted to write books. I wanted to do what I'm doing with y'all right here, right now. And now I can sit here and say, I've been doing this shit for years. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm literally living the life that I prayed for. Do all the details look? No, details don't look. But I fucking love it here. I love it. Yeah, that broom is probably, yeah, especially for a Virgo. We love to clean. I love my broom. I love to clean. That broom be I can't stand washing dishes, but sweeping and mopping, I can do that shit all day. I can clean some floors. But yes, and just like Mama Ida, like what you were saying before, like just moving in the space of gratitude, like being in the energy of gratitude is so important, and just reminding yourself, like, yo, like I really asked for this. Like, how can I be upset? It's always going to be challenges. Bina is always going to be there. That's a part of it being in the physical reality. You know what I'm saying? It got to go through the restrictions. It got to, but the fact that they even come to you, especially when you get big challenges. Like, when I get big challenges, it make me think of the Streets of Rage. Y'all remember Streets of Rage? When like you get a little apple, you like, all right, cool, a couple cops is gonna pop up, whatever. Whatever the fuck. But when you get a chicken, when you see the whole chicken on the floor, you know it's about to be a big ass John about to come. You gotta fight. You might have to throw a bomb or two. Like, you knew when you had a big gift coming that a big fight was coming, right? And so it's kind of like the opposite a little bit sometimes. It's like when you want big things, the challenges are bigger. Like, yo, y'all want freedom for real, for real? Oh, I'm about to throw everything at you. I'm about to throw everything at you. Because you want something super duper big. High highs make low lows. That's how it works. You know what I'm saying? These people, like, we have our conversations about the cults and things like that. That's because they know. You know what I'm saying? I know that what I want, the power that I want, is big. So instead of me leaving it up to God, the universe, Allah, whoever you go to, instead of me leaving it up to that energy to make a decision on what my Bina is going to be, what my challenge is going to be, I'm going to control it. Here's how I'm going to control it. I'm going to choose the person that's the closest to me and sacrifice them. I'm going to let them be my goat, my sacrificial lamb or whatever. They think they control that shit. They ain't control that shit because that karma still come back tenfold. That shit still come back tenfold. You can't play no games with the universe like that. But in their mind, in their cult, in their religion or club or whatever the fuck you want to call it, that's what they think they're doing. They think that they're controlling what they have to put in to get back that power. And yeah, for a minute it might work. But for the longevity that you try to keep that power, that's when greed come in. That's when hubris come in. For that longevity, you gonna have to sacrifice some more stuff. And they start going to, just a lot more stuff start happening. Like another example is like that Diddy John. When they said like, bro, he had the basketball game, and that was his claim to fame. Was 9 people died in that basketball game. 9 people giving birth. 9 people died in that basketball game, and that's what gave him his claim to fame. You know what I'm saying? That game was fire. Had a killer intro too. Yeah, well, Street of Rage was dope. Yep, get trapped in the cycle of doom. Yeah, because people think that they can control what it is they sacrifice, what their challenges are, and that's not entirely up to you. It might satisfy things for a certain period of time, but entirely that's not up to you. And then even like Once Upon a Time had an example. I don't know if y'all ever watched Once Upon a Time. That's one of my favorite TV shows. I wish it would come back or something like it. I love shit like that. But like the evil queen, she wanted to take over a whole town of fairy tale creatures and make them forget who they were so she could be in charge. She wanted to take the magic out of the town. That's a big ass spell. That's crazy work. You know what I'm saying? So she had to make a really, really big sacrifice. What was her sacrifice? She took her dad's heart out of his chest. The only man she loved. Well, no, I think she was in love before then. But you get what I'm saying? That's the only man she loved for real, for real. She had him in the castle. That was her right hand man. She had to take his heart out. That was the sacrifice she had to make to be able to take over a town and take out the magic. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where I was going with this. I don't even know how we got here, but we was here. I think it was because I started talking about the astrological report. Did we even get there yet? No, I don't fucking know. But we was here. For some reason, we started chatting about that. But overall, tomorrow on Sunday, the day ruled by the sun, we going to be in a day of 1. Because you're going to put that 1 to the 9. It's going to bring us back to 10, Jeb, Malkuth. And then it's gonna bring us to 1. So 1 is all about taking. We needed that tangent. Sometimes I'll be needing the tangent too, but then after a while, the idea is like the idea be big, and then it start turning into grains of sand, and then it's like, okay, now that we at the grains of sand, I don't. How did we even get to that beach? I don't fucking know, but we out of the beach now, so let's come back. But yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a day of 1, and we start that 1 on a 7, so that's gonna be like a heavy hermit energy on y'all. I won't tell you to fight the hermit energy between the 7 and the 1. I think you guys should really flow with what it is that y'all trying to manifest today on a 9, because we get 3 9s today. So whatever it is you're trying to manifest today on the 9s, let the 1 and 7s. Let the 7 and the 1, wrong order, because we start on a day of 7, we're on the path of 1. Let the 7 and the 1 guide you to how much off you should be, in hermit mode. Some of you guys, because tomorrow's Sunday, so, some of you guys do like Sunday service or, Sunday school, or go to your temple, your organizations, and all stuff like that. So that might be where you experience your 7 and your 1. It might not necessarily be by yourself. But for some of you guys, especially my 1, 4, 7, my 1, 4, and 7 life path numbers, you guys have a struggle with isolating yourself. My 3, 6s, and 9s, you guys struggle with your emotional connectivity to the isolation versus, communion. So finding a balance there with you guys. 8, yeah, I'll be like high, low, low. Just be mindful of the dramatics. It's especially with the 8s and 5s. Y'all be mindful with the dramatics, overextending yourself. Yeah. But yeah, we still gonna start over on a Sunday on a one. That's pretty cool. Life path of one. We love it here. So astrologically speaking, we start off the day off at 93% Wani gibbous moon rising at 6:29 p.m. and setting at 9:07 a.m. We'll be starting the day off at a 17-degree Cancer zodiac, so mindset still on home and family, nurturing self, intuition, all that fun stuff. We'll be at a 22-degree Gemini constellation, so still an experience of community, communication on our nurturing self and our home and family. Sunrise will be at 6:55 a.m. Sunset at 4:47 p.m. Again, we only move 1 degree a day with the sun, so we have 15 degrees Sagittarius. Our mindset on our experiences. So now we're like right smack dab between in the middle of the zodiac energy, fixed on the Sagittarius energy about joy and stuff like that. Um, Reproductive health. Um, Sagittarius energy can be associated with Chokma, which is the expansion, the abundance, the wisdom. That's when we get into that Tahuti energy, right? So that should be in your experiences. Again, like I said, it's like the gift of the Magi type of energy in the cosmos. So that's pretty cool. We love it. The sun is in 20 degrees Scorpio energy. So that 20 degree Scorpio experiences is still on transformations. Now we're like on that last degree of the fixed part of the fixed water. So we're about to, by Monday, we'll be in mutable waters, mutable Scorpio. So we'll feel the transformations and the building and destruction kind of ease up itself on our experiences, which is pretty cool. 20 is wisdom in our cipher. So at this point, you should kind of be somewhat versed in that Scorpius energy of transformations. The moon and Castor will be in conjunction at 7:34 a.m. The moon will be 6.8 degrees south. The moon and Pollux, these are the Gemini twins, y'all, will be at minimal angle at 9:37 a.m. The moon will be 3.6 degrees south southwest. Conjunction at 11:22 a.m. The moon will be 3.8 degrees south. We'll be able to observe these conjunctions with the moon and the Gemini twins between 6:17 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. And then while the moon is over there in Gemini constellation, it'll run into the moon. I mean, of course the moon is going to run into the moon. It'll run into Jupiter. All right. So, Jupiter is bringing that sacral chakra of expansion and abundance and joy and creativity and all the things we love and desire. And the moon is coming with its emotions and intuition and feminine energy. And so, aligning your third eye to your sacral chakra is key here, or your ninth Sephiroth. Jupiter rules over the second, and if we get into traditional astrology, Jupiter also rules over the fourth. So the Chokma and the Chesed. Chokma is the wisdom, the thought. Chesed is like Mayat, the law or whatever. Peace, trash man. How you doing? So aligning those Sephiroths together from your 9 to your 4 to your 2, 942. Those coming together being ignited with that conjunction at 10:54 a.m. The moon will be 2.9 degrees north, minimal angle at 11:50 a.m. The moon will be 2.7 degrees north northeast. So that would be fun, and we love it. Tropically and exalted Jupiter too. Yeah. Oh yeah. Cause we just entered Gemini constellation, so we should still be a Gemini zodiac. Venus and Aries are in conjunction tomorrow as well at 5:28 p.m. Venus will be 5.1 degrees north. All right. So Venus rules over our heart chakra. This is our Het Heru. This is our Netzach. That's 7 energy. And Aries is a star in the Scorpius constellation. It actually gives off the energy. So like with Venus, we've been dealing with the Shuba and Graphias, which is like the hardcore stars. They're kind of heavy on us as a collective. But once you get into Aries, it's still kind of heavy, but not as much. Now we're getting into the heart of Scorpio, the heart of the Scorpion. So now you get into that. The Scorpio walks around with the claws and the stinger because it's trying to protect that heart. You know what I'm saying? It's trying to protect all the gushy stuff inside of the shell. You know what I'm saying? So now we get to that gushy part. You know what I'm saying? This is where we get into the waters, the emotions, the sensitivities, the intuitive energy that water brings, right? So that's what we're doing with Venus. We're getting right smack to the middle of the sensitivities. Expect a lot of truths come out. People's true intentions, true heart, like how they you know, how they really feel about things, how they really been manipulating and moving things, what they value and prioritize, what makes them feel powerful. All of that stuff is definitely, tomorrow you're gonna have some revelations. I know that y'all that like to, sit on the ones and zeros of the internet, you guys might see that here too, in that celebrity gossip, stuff that y'all be into, or the government, what I'm saying, seeing people's true hearts and what they value and what they prioritize, you know. Excuse me. But that's that there. And then I said that was at 5:28 p.m., right, with Venus being 5.1 degrees north. And then Mars enters the Sagittarius constellation too. So Mars rules over the solar plexus chakra. This is our Ogun energy. This is our Jabora, Jadola, our celestial enforcer on the 5. It enforces our internal law in our space. I tell y'all all the time, the best control is self-control, right? If you have to control yourself, that's the only way you're going to control your reality. You can't control the elements. You can't control the events outside of self. You can't control other people. You can't control the chaos. You can't save the world. I'm sorry. I know I don't like the word can't. It's not my favorite word. I know I don't like to use it. It's not very affirmative. I get it. However, the only thing you can control is yourself. And when you study yourself and you learn to control yourself, you'll realize that that's what has an influence on your reality and your ability to influence, other people, places, things, situations, events, and ideals outside of self. However, it'll build and destroy those people, places, things, situations, events, and put you in spaces where your vortex will allow you to influence. You know what I'm saying? So, it's the example that's coming to my mind now is like, when I was younger, I used to go to this church in Camden, and I remember doing that sidewalk. What is it called when the pastor used to be on the sidewalk preaching and yelling in people's faces and shit? It's one thing to be at the spaces trying to control people, like, you're yelling, you're sweating, you're angry, your blood pressure is high, all this crazy shit is happening, versus you being in the church around people, the people, places, things, and the elements that are already in alignment with your energy, already here to receive you. They're already open to what you have to say. That flow is already happening. Versus you be on the sidewalk screaming at the top of your lungs, vein popping. I used to remember that, because he was light skinned. So his vein used to be popping out in the middle, on the side of his head, and he'd be sweating and, just screaming his heart out, trying to get these people to listen. And they're not listening. You're not in alignment. This is not the vibration that's in alignment with what you have to say. You're trying to control these elements outside of yourself. Same thing when you see with like the Hebrews on the sidewalk yelling and cursing at people and acting all crazy. Now, if you were in a space that was in alignment with your vibration, people would already be hearing what you got to say, but that's not good enough. You have to go out of your vibration and go yell at a bunch of people to be in alignment, and then they're not in alignment, because with the energy you put out is what you're gonna get back. So you're putting out all that disrespectful energy and guess what you're getting back? You're getting that shit right back from people that are not afraid of you, that have my solar plexus chakra is going to meet your solar plexus chakra, and we're going to have a back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Versus some people that have smaller solar plexus chakras and they allow themselves to be, insulted or whatever. That's not sunshine though. Like, so, having that level of awareness. Then, we've been reading the Moorish Empire book, which we'll do momentarily. We've been reading the Moorish Empire book, and in that breath of things, it's like, these people, you found your kingdom, you found your space, you found the people that are in alignment with you. You got all this land, you got the flora and fauna and everything, and all this stuff. I got like this weird random itch in this one spot of my back. That shit hurt kind of. But you have all these things, but it's like that's not good enough. I have to, expand, and have all these slaves and have more access to land and have more resources. So now you're like putting yourself, you're trying to expand yourself in spaces that are not matched with your vibration. And that's when you start having revolts. That's when you start having, people moving against you and all this stuff like that, because these people aren't your people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the more is overextended. I cannot. And I said that today. I was like, I love the Circle 7. I love the Circle 7. It's beautifully written. It's in alignment with everything I stand for to an extent. I love the Circle 7. I don't like the people. I don't like y'all. I respect y'all. I care about y'all. I love y'all because love is my religion. A lot of y'all, I don't fucking like y'all. Y'all are very mean spirited people. And you don't want to know why you're a mean spirited person? Because look at the energy that you're trying to emulate. Like you said, they overextended themselves because they were greedy. They had hubris. You know what I'm saying? They were war filled people. They had overactive solar plexus chakras. You know what I'm saying? And they just kept feeding it, feeding it, feeding it, feeding it. So now it's 2025 and we got these people that are like, yeah, we're them. Like, you're incorporated, you're not incorporated, you're right, you're wrong, this is how you read it, this is how you read the codes, this is how you, no, fuck your temple's ass, you guys aren't real, you guys did this. Like, bro, you guys are really like reliving that energy. So y'all didn't learn anything. So you guys are going to come up to the same demise you came up to the first time. Yeah, it turns into babble. Because that's all y'all fucking doing. Y'all just have Zoom meetings all day and then hop on social media and insult each other. Because I would rather be with USAR than the MST of A. And then you got the MSTA. And then you have the Moorish rights of whatever. It's just like, so nobody learned anything. Nobody learned anything about love, about unity, about your hubris, about the overactive solar plexus chakra. Nobody learned anything. We're just going to emulate this energy and repeat the degrees. And for what? What does that do? Y'all going to brag about the books y'all wrote and the paintings that y'all painted and the sculptures you had? Ooh. And that's going to get taken again. You know what I'm saying? Nothing new under the sun because your behavior won't change. Your heart won't change. Your heart's still callous like a motherfucker. But at least you got an L or a Bay at the end of your name, right? So like I said, I love the Circle 7. I don't like these niggas. The reason why they can't, God ain't gonna listen, the universe not gonna bless no mess. I know the universe goes where it called, but it doesn't bless no mess, bro. It doesn't bless a mess. A mess is gonna be a mess. And it's gonna stay a mess. That's what they like, though. That shit fun for them. That's what they want to sit around on their phones and their computers and do all day. Be typing in capital letters and shit all fucking day. Making up memes and stuff. Talking about shit they wasn't even there for. I don't got time for it. Don't got time for it. It's not what I stand for. At all. And that's why a motherfucker can't get me in a temple. Because, no. I got my L. I earned my L. I went through that little weird situation. That was weird. And I hate that somebody has a picture of me going through them flags like that. I think that shit is weird. But I did my shit. I earned my L. So that L ain't going nowhere. Because that's not what I have a beef with. I got a beef with y'all niggas. Y'all weird. And y'all didn't learn nothing. And because y'all ain't learned nothing, y'all always going to be in the same degrees. Necessary for your learnings. Exactly. It was a necessary experience, and I feel so blessed to be able to have experienced it. I deserve that experience. And I love the fact that when the Sheik saw me, he saw an L in me. You know what I'm saying? I already knew I was an L. I already know who the fuck I am. But for somebody outside of me to look at me and see me, that's dope. Confirmation. I appreciate that. Give me my L. My L is always gonna be there. But yeah, so Mars entering Sagittarius constellation. So Mars has been in Sagittarius zodiac, and we talked about the impulsivity of the mindset, because Mars is fire, Sagittarius is fire energy. So being impulsive, being rash, being quick to move and doing things and stuff like that. Be mindful of all of that with your solar plexus chakra and your sacral together over there. Be mindful of what you're allowing to motivate you. Some of you guys are allowing shallow things to motivate you. use your wisdom when it comes to your gut here. That's the perfect way you can transmute that energy that can go, the opposite way real crazy. It's also a great time to be fasting from different foods and different things that could like redirect your wisdom of Sagittarius, or redirect that gut that controls the mind in Aries, Mars energy. And yes, it will be difficult during this period of time because Mars is in Sagittarius. That's the challenge. You know what I'm saying? But if you know how to be in control and be disciplined in your shit, be in that self-control energy. You're good. So we've been dealing with that in our mindset for a while now, but now we're finally aligned in the constellation. So we're going to start feeling the experience of what our thoughts have been doing. You know what I'm saying? Like the physical world is, finally lining up with our thoughts on the tropical. Also, Mercury reaches the furthest distance from the sun for the sixth and last time this year, because the way Mercury cycles around the sun goes like 6 a year. Yeah, 6 a year. And this is the greatest west elongation. That's what we call it in the astronomical realm. And it's fun there. Also, the Puppet Velis meteor shower begins. It's at its peak. So now we have another meteor shower over the weekend. We had the Leonis Minoris on Friday. On today, we had the Phoenicians and the Cassiopeids. Um, and then tomorrow we'll have the Puppet Velids from the Vela constellation, and they go from the 1st to the 15th, and they move about 10 an hour. So honestly, between today and tomorrow, for my sky watchers out there, if y'all really into catching meteors, this is a great time to do it. The meteor shower is a great time to do it. Also, between Sagittarius energy, Gemini energy is also a big time for meteor showers too. So just showing you guys that mirror of experiencing ourselves. You know what I'm saying? When we're in Gemini zodiac constellation in our sun, we also have this influx of meteor showers. Um, Also, the asteroid 16 Psyche in the Taurus constellation is in opposition and also at midheaven. So we have our Psyche as a collective, our mindset over there in Taurus of what we value, and we will prioritize that balance between, our material and our emotional self, right? And it's fun there. So, as far as our hours go today, like if you're on EST, we're at 10 o'clock. We started the day off at on Saturn hours. I don't think anybody's in here on 9 o'clock, right? But if you did have, um, if it is 9 o'clock near you, like I'm in my last few minutes of 9:56 or whatever, so I'm finishing up the last Saturn hour for the day. However, Jupiter's hours start at 10, so for those of you guys that's on EST, you guys are finishing up your last 3 minutes of the Jupiter hours. We know Jupiter is in Gemini doing his thug dizzle. Now, when we get to 11 p.m., 11 p.m. is the hour of Mars. So we're dealing with that motivation and ambition. We know Mars just had, its transits. We talked about that. And then, of course, we start Sunday on the hour 12, right? So, hey, baby.
Hey, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to tell you, do you remember how House in the Blood got like on the blanket and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Around one of the spaces where the blanket is, the blood is like extremely like dark, and around the blood it's starting to make like the white on the blanket go away. It's like getting more like darker grayish.
That's how it draws.
Oh, okay. I just got kind of worried because it also has like little like darker spots on it too.
Okay, I'm gonna wash it. Thank you. So Saturn's tomorrow is the Sunday, so it's ruled by the sun. We'll have the sun's hours 12 a.m., 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and 9 p.m. Venus hours 1 a.m., 8 a.m., 3 p.m., 10 p.m. Mercury's hours 2 a.m., 9 a.m., 4 p.m., and 11 p.m. The moon's hours will be 3 a.m., 10 a.m., 5 p.m., and 12 p.m. Then Saturn's hours will be 4 a.m., 11 a.m., 6 p.m. Jupiter's hours are going to be 5 a.m., 12 p.m., and then 7 p.m. And then last but certainly not least, Mars hours will be 6 a.m., 1 a.m., 8 p.m. And I kind of gave you a rundown on all those planets already. So if you just came in here, rewind to the last like 30 minutes or so. I kind of went in because we had majority of those planets experience some type of celestial transit during over the weekend. So we went over all of that already. I'll go back to those hours, see what energy those planets are in, align it with your natal chart. I also highly suggest your progressive chart as well. Where are your planets at for yourself? In this moment, it's always good to be like tuned into your inner child of like what part of my inner child is this planet invoking, but also be into your outer adult too. Like, you know, what planet is this planet? What energy is this planet evoking in me now, and where I'm at now, where my energy is at now. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm gonna read you guys out. See you guys later. It's already like 10 o'clock. All right, so the theme here is ancient memory. We're aligning our sun and Mercury energy. So again, manifesting, harvesting things in our space, especially on the day of 6 on the path of 9. We get 3 9s today. So yeah, I would definitely use this energy for today to channel and manifest and harvest things that you guys want in your space. We have the 7 of Swords upright. You know, like I said, what was that about tomorrow being on the day of 7? You know, going inward, being your inner God. Be mindful of your motivations. You know, what your intentions on what it is that you're manifesting. Also be mindful of other people's intentions in your space. We talked about that though, like you know the way, especially with karma entering. You know, the celestial energy karma is entering. You know, was that Scorpio, Libra energy? You know, a lot of people's true intentions, their hearts coming out. Venus also making this transit. People's heart chakras coming out. People's true intentions coming out. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Um, we also have the 2 of Chalices, 2 of Cups, bringing us to that Maya energy, that balance, harmony, justice, and truth. Again, where people are at in their heart chakra. Is your heart as light as a feather? What are your intentions in this space? All of those things matter. What parts of self are we going to focus on? We are going to focus on our Queen of Coins, which is our balance of our water self and our earth self, bringing us to that Bina energy, because it's Bina that's highlighted on this one. So water and earth, our spiritual, emotional, intuitive energy, and how we bring that to our earthly experience. What kind of restrictions? This is in alignment with what I said earlier, like, you know, going through Bina to get through Chokma and the Ketters, but also, you know, starting at the Ketters and bringing it through Bina, the importance of that, you know, transitioning, that restriction, you know, being so up in that higher self that we forget, like, our lower self is important too. The lower self is not called a lower self as an insult of, oh, you're just low and you're less than, and da-da. No, that's just, you know, it's a means of direction. You know what I'm saying? You know, we have to do away with that mindset that our lower self is this bad demonic entity. It's not. It could be, maybe it's the things that you're infiltrating into your heart chakra or into that 7. You know what I'm saying? It could be things that you allow to infiltrate into that space, but that's not necessarily what the flesh is supposed to be about. The flesh is not about being negative and demonic and all these things like that. So work on that. And how are we going to work on that? On our enlightenment. Our enlightenment in our solar plexus chakra. Our self-control. You know what I'm saying? Our self-discipline. You know? Becoming the energy that we need to become to do the things that we need to do to be in the reality we desire to be in. If we all moved in this realm, the world that we're looking for would exist. But because we don't go inward and fully move in our authenticity, y'all keep doing stuff y'all don't want to do, and y'all keep making up reasons why. Oh, this is how life is. This is just the way it is. Everybody's doing it. That doesn't make it okay. That doesn't make it right. You're not being in your solar plexus chakra. You're not having full self-control. You're not mastering yourself. You're not doing the things. You're going along with the get along. You know what I'm saying? You're masking to survive. Okay, cool, but that's still where that, oh, now I have to have an ego death. Now you're mad at your flesh. You're mad at your flesh because your spirit's not in this authenticity to guide the flesh where it needs to go. You're a ghost in the shell. The shell is only going to do what the ghost is telling the shell to do. So if you're not happy with what the shell is doing, then you need to fix that ghost. You understand what I'm saying? Flesh is more so an effect of our inner self. Exactly. If your inner self ain't right, the flesh is gonna follow suit. So if you don't like what the flesh is doing, it's because you know you're wrong. You are your internal God. You judge yourself. Only God can judge me. That's you. You are the God of your reality. You're judging yourself. You don't like what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? To fix it. It's really that simple. I do it every day. I don't like it. I'm gonna fix it. Oh, I picked another bad news card. So bad news. It might not be the news you want, but it's the news you need. Let those transformations flow accordingly. But that's what I got for y'all today, my cosmic nobodies. I appreciate y'all tapping in over there on TikTok and YouTube and Meet Me and y'all some real ones. I'm gonna be back in a few minutes so that we can do this reading because I'm really trying to get back into my routine. Yesterday, now that I'm sitting here doing the astrological report and the numbers and stuff, I get why yesterday was a rest day. But today, I'm going to at least try to get through my routine stuff. I'm going to at least read with y'all before the day's over. And then I'm going to use my last hour to manifest what I want in my space. Um, so I'm going to let y'all go on TikTok and YouTube so I can switch over to platforms that I'm using right now. And then I'm going to use the rest of my evening to do readings. Y'all know y'all can reach out to me on Mystic Sense. Mystic Sense, the first 5 minutes are free for a reading. I believe Salvia Advisor, the first question is free on there. So y'all can reach out to me on those platforms if you would like a reading. And I'm not guessing y'all pockets, but I know people don't really like to invest in those kind of things, which is weird. It's like, bro, I literally have behavioral coaching, spiritual, whatever. But those are different ways you can get into it for a low price. You know what I'm saying? Those are the couple of platforms I'm on. I'm also on Psychic Advisor, and I believe they have like a special too, and that's more so like calling my phone. So those are the 3 different ways y'all can get readings from me. You can also message me directly if you would like an energy awareness reading, where I actually do put your celestial planets into your Sephiroths and their roots, and I read it off to you and all that fun stuff. You guys can also subscribe to me on Facebook to receive your personal daily mathematics, how to align your personal life path number and your birth date with the current year and all that fun stuff. But yeah, that's all I got for you. That's it. That's all I got. Peace, y'all. I guess meet me. I guess I'll